Alright, so in this video we're going to be translating and discussing the letter Pliny 6-7, which obviously is book 6, letter 7. So let us go ahead and get started. As per usual, Pliny in the nominative and the recipient in the dative, which is his own wife, salutem dicit. You write that, and your accusative subject is here, and your infinitive subject, or infinitive finite verb, oxymoronically, is there. You write that you are affected, same time. So the writing is present tense, and so therefore that is going to be also same tense, and that are affected by my absence, not mediocrely. So in other words, it is intense instead of just like, meh. And so known here, not meh. And that you have one solace. And then this tells you what that solace is. That you hold my books, and note that they are actually little books, as the word liber has been diminutized, for me or on my behalf, and that even often you collect those books in my footprint. By footprint, he means the space where he usually does his work. So think of it maybe like his office in the house or wherever it might be. And so apparently, the solace that she has is she collects all of his books, and when she looks at his books, it makes her think of him, and especially she likes to collect the books where he usually does his work, and so therefore it gives her a greater peace of mind. And that's what we find here. Welcome, it is pleasing. It is that you seek us, that you are thinking about us, that you require us, you seek us, and welcome, pleasing it is that you gain rest, that you gain calm, that you gain ease, that you gain acquiescence with these salves, with these medical treatments. And the medical treatments is obviously the books and the keeping of the books. But that's what fomentis is. It's like a salve. S-A-L-V-E, something that you would put on a wound or something to help it get better, like Neosporin or something. Nevertheless, in turn, in weakem, I lectito, a classic frequentative or iterative expression of a verb that is going to imply the act again and again and again. Now, originally this verb was from lego legere, but if you go to the fourth principal part of lego legere, lectus is that then you could go lecto, lectare, but then this is even a frequentative of the frequentative, and so it really means read again and again and again and again and again and again, and that is exactly what he is wanting to imply. And so therefore, in turn, I read over and over and over and over and over and over and over again your letters, and again, I take them up into my hands in plus accusative plural, as if new. So he is saying that every single time he rereads one of those letters, he's acting or feeling as though he's reading it again for the first time. But, and here's your ablative of degree of difference with magis that is there, but by this amount more I am inflamed for the purpose of or to a desire of you. A genitive that is objective, the object of the desire. And so therefore, I am this much more, by this amount, more inflamed for a desire, for the purpose of a desire, or to a desire of you. For whose letters, meaning obviously her, Calpurnia, has tantum quantum, use them correlatively as much as, for whose letters have as much charmingness, so as much charm or sweetness, suavity, you could even say, as there is of sweetness in the conversations of this one. And I'll be honest, I don't know whether this one means this one, my wife, or this one, this letter that I have most recently received. I'm going to interpret it maybe as being the actual letter, because the letters does contain the conversations of his wife. So again, for whose letters, meaning Calpurnia, have as much of charm and or sweetness as there is of sweetness in the conversations of this one, meaning maybe this most recent letter I've received. However, to scribe, a command, write, as frequently as possible. Remember, quam, when hanging around with a superlative, means as blank as possible. For you, write, however, as frequently as possible. It is permitted. Now, when we have it is permitted, the it, remember, is going to be always with quotation because the true subject is going to be a verb as either expressed by an infinitive or as an ut clause that one sees here. Alternatively, the other way by which you can also translate licet is by the word although, because it will be introducing what is then understood to be as a concessive clause, in which licet is used in place of your normal cum concessive that you would find. And you have your tamen right here that one would usually find when it is the concessive clause and the cum is translated as although. So that's what we're going to go with. Although this, in other words, writing and receiving the letters, delights me in such a way that, as a result, here's your degree word that tells you, this is the result clause, that it torments, it tortures, implied, obviously, me. And so therefore, at the same time, he loves getting the letters and reading the letters, but obviously the letters are no substitute for actually having her with him there. And so therefore, only having the letter is torture for him. And so therefore, although this delights me in such a way that as a result, it also tortures me. Be strong, or goodbye. All right, so that brings our readings in AP Latin for Pliny to a close. Make sure you study, make sure you know what the Latin says, and that you understand how it all puts together. Thanks.